Hi there, Massy here, coach, strategist and author of a number of books, 5 books to be exact, the latest being Decision Making Mastery, and welcome to this session of the Life Masterclass podcast series, coming to you all the way from beautiful Bali, but a beautiful, beautiful part of Bali, east part of Bali, Chandidasa, just gorgeous. Big high tide at the moment, so a little bit of noise in the background, so you might hear a bit of those waves, and you might see me ducking as these waves start pounding in. It's a beautiful day here, and I hope it's a beautiful day wherever you are. Now, this conversation, singular points, it might actually be a short podcast. I always say that I'm going to do a short podcast, and then it doesn't go so short, because I like to dig deeper into things and circle back on things and make sure we keep it practical and you get plenty out of it. I'm also, if you're watching this on YouTube, I'm also a bit unshaven and a bit disheveled because I'm on holidays. The topic I want to talk about today is the idea, and it was something that I was working with a client recently, and this client is what I would call, in inverted commas, a high performer. So someone who succeeds quite high professionally, in a sporting arena, competes at quite a high level and that sort of stuff. Someone who's quite driven, strong self-discipline, good sense of will, or good willpower. But one of the things, as we're having a conversation, we talked about an experience that happened with them a number of years ago, and it was with the birth of their first child, him and his wife. And the background is that he performed less than optimal. In fact, he performed pretty poorly through that whole process of his son being born, to the extent where his wife still harbours a resentment about how he handled that numerous years later. So obviously he got an F for that performance. So here he is, normal, high performer, that sort of stuff. So here's the challenge sometimes with high performers, is a high performer is used to being able to do a whole bunch of stuff and do it at a pretty high level. So sometimes that makes them a little bit biased in thinking that they can figure this thing out and get this thing done. Now, they probably can figure out the majority of things, but as I talk about in Decision Making Mastery, the situations that have high consequence, like the high value activities that we do in life, we don't want to leave too much to chance. We don't want to leave too much to winging it and just figuring it out and that sort of stuff. If there's something that has a high consequence, if I F it up, I really want to acknowledge, yeah, I'm pretty good at most things, but how about, and let's use this specific example, how about I reach out to my buddies, I see who's actually had a child, and I sit down with him, I shout him lunch or I shout him dinner, I say, hey dude, can we have a heart-to-heart? Can you just tell me a little bit about this birthing experience? What can I expect? What do I need to do? What do I need to not do? How can I be the best husband, the best future father in this experience? Because my dad didn't teach me too much. I trust you, I value your opinion. You've already done it, so load me up. Tell me what I can learn from this experience so I get this thing right. So I don't get an F, which is, what happened. So an interesting thing, so again, for you that are listening, that might be a high performer in lots of different aspects of your life, when it comes to doing something new, which has high consequences, do yourself a favor and reach out to someone who's already done it before, someone who can guide you through it. If I could turn the clock back on my experience, I left consulting to mega events. Last one was the Asian Games in Doha, Qatar, 2006. 2007, embarked on this journey of becoming a coach, trained up in that, and started my own business, my own coaching, personal training business. And, rocky road. Took me a long time to figure it out. And if I could turn the clock back, I would actually go back and I would find a business coach and I would invest money in that business coach working with me for 12 months as I go through the process, the learning process. So again, I could perform in a lot of different areas, but business wasn't one I was familiar with. I knew I could figure it out, but again, like high consequences, if you F it up, you run out of money or your business fails, or you've got to go back to working for the man or whatever it is. So high consequences requires then reaching out to find that person, skilling up on that. So there you go. I think that gives you some good examples. Have a look in your own life, see if there's any areas where you're sort of over-assuming or getting complacent about how well you know something. If there's high consequences with that, invest the time, energy, effort, and maybe even the money in getting someone to help you fully understand that, so you have a high performance in that particular area that you may not be familiar and comfortable with. So there you go. Any questions on that? Any questions around transitioning? Any questions around decision making? Don't hesitate to reach out. Details down below, carlmassy.com. Check out my book, Decision Making Mastery. Extremely valuable in this time. Feel free to forward this podcast on to someone else, whether that's through YouTube or whether that's one of the audio versions. Thank you very much for joining me, and wherever you are on this gorgeous, incredible, beautiful, awe-inspiring planet of ours, have an absolutely fantastic day and take care.